What's good, people? Sim Football Critic here, and you're probably asking, why are we looking at this old NCAA football game? And I'm going to let you know that. What you're taking a look at here is NCAA 06 for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2. And basically what I'm showing you in this video is sometimes you have to go back to the past in order to have a great future. You know, you have to go back to basics in order to enhance or to do better or, like I said, to bring a brighter future. You have to go back and revisit what you did in the past. And as you're taking a look at this, you guys are probably saying, no, now it doesn't look the prettiest. It doesn't look as good as we thought it looked back in 2005. But you can clearly see that the running was more of a momentum-based running as far as, how they lean and things of that nature, and you have to stop and plant. Again, the animation is not the prettiest, but as you can see, that was the foundation they had then. So now we're going to take a look at what they have in the current day. On the right hand side, you're going to see NCAA 14. On the left hand side, you'll look at last year's edition, NCAA 13. And it goes without saying, you can clearly see the differences. One of which would be the acceleration and deceleration. There was none of that in NCAA 13. You're basically at top speed or you're not running at all. As you can still see on the left hand side, there's swerve running. And, guys are not really stopping to plant. And anytime it looks like they are planting, it's not a great looking plant. It's almost like the animation just wasn't there. When you're running downward, towards the screen and cut back up, that was the only time that you would see some sort of foot plant that looked realistic or, looked legitimate, I might say. Compare that to what you see on the right hand side. You're seeing him have to slow down and gather himself, as well as you're seeing plants with the left analog stick, and it just looks more realistic. Now, truth be told, no, it's not perfect. We all know that. Right now it's still not a perfect system. There's still situations where they slide or glide from time to time, and you'll see a lot of pops in the animation, especially when you go into the acceleration burst, where the feet kind of slide and you get that hiccup effect, or you get the ice skating effect at times. But you can clearly see that NCAA 14 is a polished, better, and improved version of what they had on last gen NCAA 06. I'm not going to say that they build right on top of that, but you can clearly see that what they went with in this game is definitely comparable, or it flirts with what they had back on last gen, and that's a good sign. I have to give credit where credit is due. You guys know I show the good and I show the bad. But this to me is living proof that things are changing for the better. Little things like this, foundation, fundamental aspects. We have to get those things taken care of before we can take leaps and bounds. Now, I expect greatness from next gen. Over the course of that generation, I expect to see some great things. But again, just to reiterate, it's good to see that they're trying to clean up and address and go back and tackle excuse my hiccup right there, but to go back and tackle the fundamental aspects before they move forward. All right, so let me know what you think. Don't forget, guys, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Sim Perspective Radio Show, the show for the Sim Gamer. Give us a call at 347-202-0388.